Alright, gonna react to a video. This one's something about the doomer, which is the new generation, obviously, which is doomed. Now, capitalist dystopia. You can see here on the picture, it already looks very dystopic. And I'll be reacting to this. Oh, I can't stand that music. Nothing against anyone that does, but it's not my kind of thing. Got a nasty bullshit mask in his face. Kind of interesting, like now in Switzerland they've just introduced a burqa ban, and now at the same time everybody is obligated to wear this thing, which kind of makes about the same amount of your face visible. It's an interesting time to come up with this ban. Alright, what does it say here? Everybody is beautiful. Well, that's disputable. I think most people can be beautiful if they look after themselves. There are some exceptions that really got dealt a shitty hand by their parents or God or evolution, however you want to look at it. But most people that are ugly could look better or even good if they look after themselves, eat healthy and exercise. Everybody's beautiful. Not quite true. And especially not true if people let themselves go. Flawless is overrated. Well, maybe a little bit. I mean, I think nothing's flawless, but if something is great, if somebody's really beautiful but he's got an ugly nose, then that feature makes the person distinct. It doesn't make the person ugly just because there's a flaw. Or somebody's really beautiful but got weird looking ears. It's just like a small imperfection doesn't make a beautiful person ugly. It makes them distinct. It can even, in a way, that flaw doesn't look ugly on a beautiful person. It's almost like the beautiful person makes the flaw look good. It's like a beautiful person wearing an ugly accessory, then that person makes the accessory look good. Here it says, the real you is sexy, no doubt. No double. Oh, not sure what that means. It's definitely false a lot of the time. But then even the ugliest person, there's somebody that likes them. I mean, on looks. Because there's always somebody with a fetish. And then beauty is within. Yes, no. It's a different thing. You're talking about one thing and comparing it with the other. It's like comparing apples with oranges. You're using a word. If you're talking about beauty, you're talking about looks. If you talk about beauty within, it's about personality. You're not talking about the same thing. A beautiful personality or beautiful looks are a different thing. So it's true, but it's irrelevant to the look thing. Although it is true that if a beautiful person is an asshole, it makes them a little less beautiful, and if an average person is really nice personality wise, it makes them look a little bit above average. It can shift it a little bit. Your personality can make you a little bit more beautiful or ugly, but if you're just butt ugly, you're not gonna be super beautiful on personality alone, look wise. It just influences psychologically the person that you're hanging out with, or the people that know you. Be kind, that's always good, I approve of that. And yeah, capitalist on that shirt, capitalist brand, made in China. Not by communist China, it's not actually that communist. China is actually the factory of Western capitalism, where they have slave labor. I mean, they have slave labor here too, but that's where they have the ultimate slave labor. China is not an example of communism. It is an example of the capitalist's factory. That's where the lowest ranking slaves live and slave for the assholes in our country. Okay, let's continue. And here we got, that just went a little quick, we go back a little. What does it say on here? Are you beach body ready? That's a contradiction to the protest. They want to sell this image of fashion and good looks by health, although it looks rather cheesy. It's an enterprise trying to make money, trying to sell you a product, sell you a gym membership. They don't care if you go to the gym, they just want you to buy the membership, and then they hope you actually never go there, because those are the best customers. And here, this goes quick, you gotta be quick, man. I'm slow. Online dating was never easier. Start today, that's a terrible idea. Oh, he's considering it. Very gloomy times in a dystopia.
Thank God for Tinder.
Women who are ovulating prefer men with thicker jaws.
That sounded like thicker jaws. Okay, Jordan Peterson, another disaster of our times. Well, why are men dropping out? He's addressing a lot of the problems, and he has a lot of knowledge as a psychologist, but he's also an angry man who is extremely invested in the capitalist type thinking. He doesn't see capitalism as the problem that causes a lot of the suffering. He sees work as a good thing because he thinks it gives meaning. He fails to see that people these days are only a tool, like a gear in a big machine where you no longer have meaning. You don't see the meaning of your job anymore. You are just an employee. You are not there to think. You're just there to do what you're told. Your work is no longer a part of your expression, like the way it would have been a long time ago when somebody created something. If you independently create something, then that's your creation, and you see the purpose of it. But if you work at McDonald's or it's your job to close the sandwich, you doesn't have any meaning. You get paid a shit wage. You can barely pay the rent. That's not natural. It's not healthy. There is no meaning in it. He fails to see how capitalism is moving towards this sort of factory-like production where people are only a gear or a wage slave, where your work has no meaning. Here he's talking about another topic. I find him very annoying. I don't dislike everything about him, but he's becoming extremely popular amongst some people and very hated by others. Some people think that they blindly follow his advice, but I don't think it's gonna get them anywhere. The problem is bigger than that. Just grinding through it is not gonna work.
For example, if you show
I mean that's why we have the doomer. This is a doomer. Now he's looking at this. It's not gonna help him. He will remain a doomer. He's a doomer because he's doomed. It's not gonna change for him. He will never own a house. He will always be a slave. He will never achieve anything no matter how hard he tries, because the game is fixed. And his advice is not going to change that. He's doomed.
women pictures of the same man across their menstrual cycle, and all you do is widen the jaw. The narrow-jawed guy is more preferable when there's less probability of conception. The wider-jawed guy.
There is talking about that women prefer guys with more masculine bone structure in their face, like wide jaw, for instance, and that if they have different hormone cycles, and during the time where they're most likely to conceive, they're more attracted to guys with bony, broad jaws and brows, the brow that's thick, the sort of masculine features, and that's not helpful. Of course, it's true. It is in fact so, but it's not helpful. It doesn't change anything. Yeah, so you're gonna get a chin implant now. Probably has shares at the chin implant plastic surgery. Okay, now it's going on Tinder. Years old, 3 miles away. 666, that's the number of the beast. 6-pack, so she expects him to work out and have a 6-pack. 6 foot tall and 6 figures. Well, about 9% of Americans earn 6 figures. These are unrealistic expectations, of course. Everyone can insist on that. We could do it this way. I have an idea. 9% of Americans have 6 figures. Of course, that still doesn't mean they're 6 feet tall and have a 6-pack. That's far less than it. But just stick with that alone. That alone is, I'll say, 1 in 10 men. Okay. So every man in America gets 10 women like this. They have to share him, and the other 9 get none. And if there's an exception, so some women don't like to, they'll be like waiting in a row, and he'll be using his tool, first one. If he's friendly, he'll clean his tool and then move on to the second one, but it's very exhausting for him. He's got like 10 of them to that he needs to service every day, or at least a couple of times a week. And of course, I mean, if I was female, that's not what I would want. I wouldn't want that as a male either. To have to share like that. I'd rather get castrated. But that's the expectations. If you take into the equation that is to be 6 foot and have a six pack as well, then well, maybe 1 in 100 men's gonna be sharing 100 women. You're gonna be sharing that guy. Remember that if you're female. And men, if there's a woman that doesn't want that and she chooses to take one of the other 99 men, well, you can share her if you want. Just remember, another 99 fox sticks have been in there before you get there. I'm not gonna participate, so it's only gonna be 98. So that's good for you. You can thank me later. If you're not 6+, don't bother. What a contradiction. People contradict themselves all the time. They're picking on females here, but men are the same. You know, in a different way, maybe. They care about looks too. So do they. Obviously looks are gonna help you, but don't contradict yourself. Why not just be honest about it? Everybody likes the looks, right? He knows he's doomed. Look, he's cringing. Ah, that's frightening. Would you rather do this or not at all? And let's go back, look at the image. Well, some people have a fetish, lucky for them, but no, not. Hey, I'm Wendy, I don't ask much, just be tall and what the fuck, and muscly. Huge expectation for, seriously, take your own advice. She really needs to work out. That is not attractive, trust me. He's thinking about getting castrated now. Don't do it. I think he just took his balls, put it in a nutcracker and pulled it out. Painful, you could hear that, very painful, but probably worth it in the long run, if you ask me. Well, pretty terrible. Alright, that's the end of it. I hope that you are asexual, because those people are lucky bastards. Asexual people have no sex drive, not even on a Sunday. If you're not, then maybe you want to think about getting castrated. Maybe. It's not a good idea to have kids these days anyway. Things are fucked up now. Imagine the world we are leaving behind for them. It's just purely terrible. They have nothing to live for. Unless things change drastically, it's a cruel thing to give new life to a person that's gonna have to deal with the shit that's coming their way. Alright, that's the end of it. Bye.